For sure, for sure. All right, I got to record now. I'm gonna go ahead and create a banner real quick for you. Um, as far as would you like for this to? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, I thought it was frozen. As far as what this could say, I mean, maybe you can put your IG handle. Is Truth Inspires You, right?
Yes, underscore.
Underscore after that, okay.
And Shy Love has a IG too.
Okay. Tuyeni, AKANKE.
Yep.
All right. In conversation with Tuyeni Akanke, and I'll just put your IGs. Um,
And then Shy Love is Shy underscore love underscore open mic.
all right. So Truth Inspires You underscore, and then shy underscore love underscore open mic.
Yep.
Beautiful. Bam. Let me actually put a little separation in between the two here. See if this is better. How's that?
Beautiful.
Cool, cool. All right.
Okay.
Cool. Cool, cool. Let me get centered here. All right, what's up, y'all? This is Sam Thousand with Vibrations. Today we're gonna have a conversation with a masterful poet and just a Renaissance woman. This is Tuyeni Akanke. Y'all make some noise for What's up, Tuyeni? How you doing, Queen?
Peace and love. I'm very well. I'm blessed to be here. I love Vibrations. I'm honored to be a guest today. So thank you for having me.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Thank you for making time. I know you're busy. I know you got a lot of irons in the fire. You're doing a lot of beautiful things. I wanted to use this time to kind of just to kind of take a beat and talk about what you've been up to. What are your latest inspirations? You know what I'm saying? And I think it'd be cool to talk a little bit about kind of uh, like your early track. You know, with doing poetry and coming up on the scene. And I know you've done some you got some cool accolades to talk about as well. So can we start there? Maybe talk about a little bit of like how you got it started into poetry and writing, storytelling, um, and yeah, let's go from there. So where did it first begin?
Okay, so it's funny because when singers talk about when they first started, like black singers, when they talk about when they first started doing their art,
Mhm,
usually it's like in the black church, right? And
mhm,
so I have to start there with, my spoken word, my writing, my stage, right, was always church. And
mhm,
so is there, people often say that I speak with the power, that they feel a presence with me and things of that nature. And it's really because my grandmother had me in church. I grew up around the elders. I went to Mississippi for my summers. I have an interesting kind of like upbringing. Um, that has really inspired me to continue to be creative and continue to evolve and continue to, just be my all out colorful self, So I started like really like writing poetry. I went to magnet schools, went to a magnet school when I was in middle school. And we had like a bunch of poetry workshops. Like my education was very poetry, literary arts heavy. And I went to Shakespeare plays and I learned how to write under literary art. And writing just became a love for me. So like aside from me being like this spoken word performing artist and this poet, like I'm a literary artist who like my art may be spoken or it may be written. You know what I'm saying? It may be for people to experience live, or it may be for people to experience with themselves in their own privacy and their own psyche. And so my goal as an artist is to spread the word of preserving literary art.
Mhm.
Um, I spoke poetry in high school. I went to Howard University, graduated, ended up going to one of the longest running open mics I ever called Spit That. And I was still reading off my pad, and you know what I'm saying, at the open mic. You feel me? Like I didn't have like the presence that I have today, the confidence, to go out there and spit my piece. I ain't had that. And that's why I say to amateurs right now who like, oh, I want to do that. I want to, like, just take your time. And I would ask poets like, oh, how can I spit like that? How can I do that? And they just used to be like, just get out what you want to say. Don't worry about rhyming. Don't worry about none of that. So when I shifted
Mhm.
the way that I started to write poetry, my work and my art became more impactful. And so, I started to feature in DC in around 2014. And then, I was always writing songs and stuff though. Like, I'm in a sorority. I wrote a lot of our coming out show songs. Um, I just have always been like this creative spirit, writing for fun, creating for fun. So then when I moved back to Chicago in 2016, I moved back in 2017. I came on the spoken word scene. And, in 2019 and 2020, I was nominated as Best Female Spoken Word Artist in Chicago through the National Spoken Word Awards. I didn't win, but the nomination was phenomenal. Um, and so I'm right now, my inspirations are knowing that death, darkness, sickness, and all of the things that have us in this cyclical, negative state in this society don't have to be real in my life. And I can use my art and my creative endeavors to express that. And I believe that healing does get to a place of wholeness. And so God is really inspiring me. My destiny is inspiring me. Love and the true hopefulness of it, is
Yeah.
inspiring me. So yeah.
Yeah. What's talk to us about your perspective of Chicago, whether it be from, actually, if we can do both, like before going to Howard, like kind of like you coming up, but then also if you can talk about, your perspective of the scene of the city itself, like even today.
Okay, so Chicago, before I left, I grew up here, born and raised. I'm from the West Side, 290 all day. Stop playing with us. No, I'm just playing.
Ooh.
But I I grew up out west, but like I didn't know about this West Side, South Side thing until I got to college, because growing up, my daddy, had family and friends, and women that he dated all over the city. So we would travel all over Chicago. I loved driving down Lakeshore Drive when I was a kid.
Mhm.
I was always spending time downtown. I went to school up north in Lincoln Park. I also used to work in Lincoln Park at Lou Manotti's, on Sheffield. I west suburbs, just like Chicago has always been home and a place of love to me. My trauma had just kind of like enveloped me while I was here, and I knew I wanted to go away to school. So I didn't know or really even think that I was going to move back home.
Hmm.
My grandmother transitioned in 2014. By 2016, I had made a decision like it's time for me to go home. And being here as an adult 10 years after I left to go away to school, um, I had to like learn Chicago all over again. Like, yeah, I had spent time downtown, but I was 18. I was a teenager. I was 14. I was with my friends. I was going to Great America. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
my intentions for going out was different. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
wasn't trying to be seen by a husband. You know, like I wasn't, not somebody else's husband, but somebody who would be a potential husband for me. I wasn't trying to, network. I wasn't, clear about my path. I was just living full and free. And
yeah,
so being back home has been a blessing, truly. First, let me say that. Like, I love
hmm,
Chicago. Chicago is a special place. I've been to many places. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who've been to more places than I, but I consider myself, moderately well traveled.
hmm,
And there is no place like Chicago. Like, the people here are lovely. I think that the people who gravitate here, like people like yourself, they are people who are also lovely and resonate with that energy. I think that, it's easy to point out the pessimism and negativity of Chicago and what has happened and goes on. But if we really look beyond that, Chicago is an amazing city that everybody trying to get to and so many people want a piece of. And
yeah,
so, I honor my city. I love it here. You can succeed here. I think that being on the scene, I think that when we talk about the scene, we have to talk about the different components of scenes, right? And like, you got the literary art scene that's not necessarily always considered on the spoken word poetry scene, right? They just like, we poets, you know what I'm saying? One whole time it's a whole world of literary art that encompasses poetry, but it's not, only inclusive of poetry, right? So um I I think about that scene as being a little is different, that's the way I think the literary art scene is the way that you really get to a place of success and notoriety and literary art and poetry, spoken word, or whatever. I think that you have to be on that scene or know that it exists, right? Because that's the mainstream, right? Because people who are looking for poetry, spoken word, things of that nature on a corporate or large scale, they're looking for it through the literary arts sector because that space is cleaner, things are more legitimized. You know what I'm saying?
hmm,
When we talk about the spoken word scene, where it's just like, oh, this poetry in the Black community, things of that nature, you have a lot of talented people who are coming to spit pieces, but some of the pieces are rooted in trauma, some of the pieces are rooted in healing, some of the pieces are stuck in the middle. You get what I'm saying? And I just think that the scenes differ depending on where you go, and you really have to make sure that you are clear about what your intentions are in being an artist on the scene, because it's also easy to get manipulated, to get hurt, to get taken advantage of. And you don't want to feel that or experience that type of trauma when you're trying to get your art off.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I want to see if you can take us a little bit deeper into the literary side of things because I'm a performing artist, a musician, and I'm more so kind of rooted in the musical sector of the city. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely know some writers and authors and all that. But you said something that's super parallel to the music scene, where there's like, there's like a above surface level, like where these people are like kind of more, acclaimed and more recognized even on a natural level, but national level. But then you also have folks that are on the ground level or even underground is what I like to say, ground and underground. You know what I'm saying? Where these people are not people, but these artists are, creating some dope magic, and they may be starting off or they may just have been there like a veteran on the scene, and so I'm curious if you can just kind of paint a little bit more of a picture of what the literary art scene looks like on just both levels. And even if you want to shout some people out or some experiences or events or places, that'd be really dope.
Indeed. Okay, so let's go with mm, mm, mm. Okay. So when we talk about the literary art scene as compared to the open mic scene, right? A lot of times you have people who are running open mics who are not literary artists. They individuals who like poetry or who know that there's a large demand for poetry. So the platform that is created is to have this event space be successful, this brand be successful, right? And so that's more of a local approach and local thing, unless the person who is organizing and who is in charge of this is trying to make this thing global, right? We'll talk about ChiLove in a little bit, but that's something that I'm trying to do, taking a local approach to have global impact, right? But we have to know how to create that global impact, and we have to also know how to create opportunity beyond just having giving somebody a stage, right? When we
Mhm.
talk about the literary arts sector, this is the sector that you have these are sectors where there are book talks, right? Because if you're a writer and you're not reading, then you're not really a writer, right? You just scribing, right? You have to be able to read and be inspired and also have conversation about new things, right? And so in the literary art space, you have foundations and you have organizations that are rooted in the preservation of literary art in whatever way that it comes, right? So you have like the what am I thinking about? This is the poet laureate of Illinois, Avery Green of
Every Young,
Avery Green, right? You know what I'm
every
saying? He
Young.
became the poet laureate. That is through the literary arts sector,
Hmm.
right? He wouldn't have gotten seen as in the way that he did unless he made, great strides in the literary arts sector to be seen, to be noticed, to, be voted on. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he probably came up on the spoken word scene, right? But he had to transition to the scene where his work would have like an entryway to the global market, right? And so when we have these foundations, you have people who are coming all over the United States to come to literary arts events in Chicago. You also have events all over the United States that are, what I'm saying, uplifting literary art, right? This is not just about the open mic. You have some people who run at open mics and have been running open mics for years who may not be able to go to a literary art conference and have a real conversation because there is a science to writing. There is a structure to writing. And so many people in the spoken word scene, they write free verse, right? What about a sonnet? Yeah, we know about haikus, right? But what about these other different styles of writing? What about writing a song? What about writing comedy? What about, what I'm saying, all of these different types of literary art that we live every single day, writing menus, structuring things, structuring words, all of these things, right? And so in the literary art world, there's just more of an opportunity to share these things, you know, um, and more of a demand for them, you know.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. That's important. There's levels to it, right? In all of these sectors of the arts, I know it kind of gets weird, kind of like trying to put a label and a name on it, and so it often comes down to saying the arts, yeah, but or the scene, right? But thank you for taking us in a little deeper and making that a little bit more clear that there are levels to this,
Mhm.
and even talking about reading is informing the art as well. I think that's a really beautiful point that you made there. Um, can we start talking about Shy Love now? Like you got this really beautiful, which is framed in an open mic sense, but even as the owner of Urban Luxe Cafe D said, she said that Shy Love, it's you get poets in there that sing or that do this and do that,
Yeah.
so yeah, it seems like just like such a colorful event. Um, can you tell us how that event came about, how you came up with the name, and what was the intention behind it?
Okay, so all right, this the shot love really was manifested out of some answered prayers, right? I had experienced some hurt a few years ago on the spoken word scene. I was trying to figure out how to reacclimate myself while also I don't like I have been nominated as best female spoken word artist for 2 years in a row. I didn't want to start from the ground up anymore. But when you're on the scene, things rotate, people rotate. You know, you can't expect people to just know you, right? So I'm just like, but just get me in the room one time, they go remember, you know. And
Yeah.
so giving thanks to the people who know my talent, who will call me up and be like, Tuyeni, I need you to come through. I got an audience. Or, you know, whatever the case may be, I get, you know, opportunities to teach special workshops and, you know, get paid for my art and things of that nature. So, you know, I have still been able to keep my art alive even while, you know, trying to figure out how to get back on the literary art scene full throttle. I'm a two-time published author, you know, all of those things. And so there is a poet, she's the typewriter poet. She has an open mic called Word Fatty, right? So I
What
have
is it
been
called
seeing,
again?
huh?
What is it called
Word
again?
Word Fatty Open Mic.
Got you.
And so, this is the typewriter poet. She carries around a typewriter. She is a dope spirit, real creative. And so, she was having Word Fetty open mic at Urban Luxe Cafe. So I was like, I had been saying I was gonna get there. I had got off work late that day. I knew I was gonna get there late. I sent her an inbox telling her that I was gonna come. I showed up around 8:30. It ended at 9. Dang. Like it was more closer to 8. You know what I'm saying? But it was encroaching upon 8:30 for sure. So I'm like, man, so I get in there. She gets to a point where it's like only, you know, one poet round, one poem rounds. And so she's like, you know, she called me up, she introduced me or whatever, and I do my piece. You know, when I came off stage, D, who is the owner of Urban Luxe, she's like, "Can we talk? You know, I would love to have you feature here." So I'm like, "Cool." So we talked, and as we were talking, she was like, "I'm just wondering if you have a place for your artistry," and I was like, "No." Like, should I do you have a home for your artistry? She didn't just say place, she said home. And I'm like, no, she was like, I'm really feeling like I should, you know, offer Urban Luxe as a home for you, you know. And I was just like, my whole body was tingling. I was like, okay, God. And so I sat and meditated for a little bit, like what is this? What am I creating? And ChiLove was birthed. Like it really just came to me spiritually, honestly. I'm like, this Chicago, this open mic about to represent Chicago. It's about to represent everything beautiful. It's about to, you know, move around on this Chirac idea and that this is a death zone. You know, like, nah, we finna really do this. You know, this, we giving Chirac back. It's all love. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
So, yeah.
man, I love that. And shout out to D. She's such a wonderful spirit.
Yeah.
Even just finding out, I recently did an interview with her, and just finding out how she was told by the spirit to go purchase this property, and not even knowing that it was gonna be what it is now, but it's literally a home. It's literally a home for some dope curated events such as Shala, and it's a home for creatives to come to and just be completely comfortable with sharing and receiving and just vibing and yeah, it's a special place already in just 4 months. You know, she gets it, and so I'm excited that it's not only something that is resonating with the city, with the intention to um, push a lot of more love forward to help um, kill this unbalance of all this negativity that we're experiencing in the city, and also what people see in this, you know, from the outside. But I love the fact that it's at a space that is super welcoming and that is allowing you to do it the way you want to do it. You know, um, can you briefly talk about um, what people could expect by coming to Shy Love?
Okay, so I think it's important to recognize that, like, whenever I come into a room, God coming with me, right? And this is not a no real like Christian churchy way. This is in like a real like higher consciousness type of way, right? Like
Yes.
um ChiLove is here to have dominion over all dark energy as it relates to literary art, And so when
Mhm.
you step into ChiLove, it is a vibration of love, right? When you step into ChiLove, it is a vibration of respecting the amateur and the vet, on the open mic poetry, what I'm saying, performing art scene. You have people who come in, like the very first night we did it, there was just people who showed up who really wanted to support. Like it was beautiful, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The feature for the next week was Tony Mono. So he come in, Tony Mono, he doing his thing. Mono got a real beautiful personality, real big God body energy. And so
Mhm.
next week he come, and then we got singers in the room. There was an impromptu performance that he did with another singer in the room at the top of his feature. Like it had me crying afterwards, you know what I'm saying? Like every week the room has been packed with people. Like I just have been like, oh my God, people been chatting the song, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You definitely can expect to come and learn our song. So it's a Shy Love song. It goes Shy Love. Shy Love. It's the open mic of the century. Shy Love. Yep. We show love. Come on. We show love.
Mhm.
You can come in here and get you a big hug. We show up. Come on. We show up. Artists come into this mother and turn it up. Shy Love. Shy Love. So we giving Shy Rack back. It's all love. Shy Love. You can find us on 7D 9th and Exchange at Urban Luxe.
Man, it seemed like you was freestyle, like you could have just kept going.
Yeah, we sing that. We sing that throughout the night at
That's
Shy
what's up.
Love to keep the energy going. So if you come, you go learn the song, But
Mm.
every week it's a different kind of like healing experience, right? It's beautiful. Like we get kids to come in there, first timers, people who've been performing before and took off a little bit, and like I'm trying to come back, um,
Yeah.
Get some good food up in there. I don't know if you ever had any food from Urban Luxe, but baby, they do their thing. And it's so delicious. It's so delicious. And so, yeah, and you could just expect me to be there. And my God gave me this opportunity because I get a chance to create a platform for other artists while also sharing my multifaceted performance art. And so, it's just like I have the Tuyeni experience, which happens annually, and God took the Tuyeni experience and helped me to do that on a weekly basis. And so
Mhm.
that's a major blessing.
That's what's up, man. Thank you for sharing about Shy Love and just kind of painting a picture and taking us there. Like I feel like I'm like in the room. I've seen some of the videos of y'all singing where you're on the stage and you're going back and forth with the audience and y'all singing the song, and it just looks like a beautiful experience. I have one more question for you before we wrap, and I just want to talk about the Tuyeni Akanke experience and also just like your performance style. um, I can understand why the owner of Urban Lux would come up to you after your first performance, of her seeing you do your first performance. I'm sorry, of her seeing you for the first time perform, and to be like, pull you aside, like I gotta speak to her real quick, and because I've seen clips of you performing, and like I just feel like, yes, like when you walk in the room, God is coming with you. And when you speak, the power that you're speaking with is definitely from an ascended level of consciousness and energy. And can you maybe just talk a little bit about where that comes from? I know you mentioned church, early on, what I'm saying? There's very much that power and that speaking that comes from the Black church, but just how it's kind of like evolved, I would say, even over the years, and just describe what it is that you do if you can.
Yeah, so All right. It may not be a surprise to people, but I'm also an actress, right? So I do different things in the city and throughout the U.S. With theater and acting and all of that, brand ambassador, right? And so I've been studying theater and in theater since I was a child. So theater has helped me to really get down deep into my core to bring out passion, right? Um and that's my strongest like ability. It's like I speak from a place of passion. I speak from a place of knowing. I speak from that spark of life within me. I speak from knowing that there are so many people who came before us and who were like, you better stand strong in this life, you better live long in this life, you better do that. And it's just like my voice is my spiritual gift, like I've always had unique voice. I would say people recognize my voice no matter where I'm at. And I had to learn how to just really get grounded in myself and like, really I combine theater with my passion with really what's happening in the room, you know. And then now that I'm starting to work with musicians and work with music and produce music and things of that nature, it's like really I'm learning how to shift that same energy and nature on a track and in my voice in a recording studio. So like the way that I do it is I speak from my core. Like I be like, God, let's do this. And really it's a really a spiritual experience for me. Like there are moments I don't eat before I perform, you know what I'm saying? I go on stage and people be like, you just do it like it's so easy. Like I'm nervous often, but and there are times where I have to numb the nervousness and I'm just like, go ahead, you do that shit. And so, I'm so blessed that God will honor me with the opportunity to inspire the world and inspire crowds in this way. Like sometimes I'm also in awe of the gifts because I'm like, dang. And then I can't speak to people in that voice in regular one-on-one conversations because they like, I can't get mad and think I'm finna speak from the stage voice. They like cut that, you know what I'm saying? So it holds a lot of power. And so I just I remember the first time I performed, like there's a sister named ChiLove who's also she's a musician, she's a poet, she's into literary art, she has a foundation in Chicago. She had an open mic in the hundreds. And I went out there for the first time just trying to get some notoriety. And I stepped on stage. I was like, peace and love, everybody. My name is Tuyeni. I'm from the West Side, Walter Bam, XYZ. And then I went into my performance. And then after I performed, she came to the mic and was like, girl, why would you come up here with that little voice and then blow us away like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you came up here like you was shy or like you was timid or something like that, and you just sit the place up. Like, what are you doing? And that made me laugh. But Tuyeni Akonke off stage and Tuyeni Akonke on stage definitely carry the same wisdom and passion. But it's a bit of a, I'm transparent and I like to be intimate with people, like intimate in a way of just like, let me get to know you. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't always do that in the same way while I'm on stage, but I seek to still touch the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely know what the stage is for.
Yeah.
That's what's up. Well, that's to Tuyeni Akonke, ladies and gentlemen. Please check out Shy Love. It happens every Friday at Urban Luxe Cafe. Can you give us the time?
Yes, it's 6 to 9 p.m. The mic opens as soon as the door opens. Come through. It's free. You can register on Eventbrite. You can walk straight in. It's a really beautiful experience. Like, come through. And if you ain't never did poetry before and you want to try for the first time, you want to get you a big hug, like come through to Shy Love.
Okay, that's what's up. Well, yeah, I'm gonna definitely be in the place. Fridays are pretty busy for me, but I will be there soon enough. My next Friday available. And I'm excited just for this thing to grow. It's just the beginning for Shy Love at Urban Luxe. Shy
Actually,
Love at Urban Luxe.
yes.
um, but yeah, I'm excited to see this thing grow, and glad that you already got it packed in there, and that there's just such a great response happening. I feel like there's a another renaissance that we're experiencing on the scene here, and we're living it right now. And you are a part of that. You are a leader in this as well. So thank you so much for your service to our community, and thank you for taking some time to speak with us.
Indeed, indeed. Thank you. I'll keep you posted because Shy Love is definitely a movement, and I would love to share more about different manifestations of the brand. So I'm sending you love.
Hey.
Yes.
Peace and love, love and light. Thank you all for tuning in. Follow Vibrations for more of these conversations, and follow Tuyeni Akanke at Truth Inspires You. I'm sorry, yeah, Truth Inspires You underscore, and then also follow Shy Love. That's Shy underscore Love underscore Open Mic. All right, and please be on the lookout for what she got coming up next. All right, I'm sure she got some dope stuff in the works that she probably hadn't even mentioned, and
I
so we're just excited for the energy that she's bringing to the scene. So peace and
I
love once again to Yanni Akake.
I send you much love and much light.